Welcome back, everybody. Today we are talking Verasity VRA. It has been pumping recently. We're going to go into why that is, the most recent news around VRA, and then get into a little bit of chart analysis and price predictions at the end here. So let's hop right in. So first of all, one of the kind of most bullish catalysts here in the last few weeks or so has been the introduction of their new 2023 roadmap. Now we're not going to go through everything, but I think a couple of key points to hit on here. It's very, very clear that they are doubling down, tripling down on VeraViews. So VeraViews is obviously their flagship product, helps eliminate fraudulent fraudulent ad views and fraudulent ad spend going towards those views for publishers and folks using ads. So basically, what we're seeing is that they are focusing on onboarding new ad partners and publishers. They're focusing on improving their fraudulent detection algorithms, and they're actually basically focusing on improving their advertiser development statistics on the back end. They're improving a lot of the UX UI of VeraViews and also the ad relevance management for publishers. So essentially making the onboarding, the experience very, very easy with VeraViews. And we're also going to see them issue a new demo account option as well for publishers that want to test out VeraViews and come into the ecosystem. So this is huge, right? Because VeraViews, again, is really the flagship product. It would actually help burn a lot of VRA, would actually help bring revenue into Verasity as a company. And it is the kind of patented technology that they're really tripling down on and have the competitive advantage on. So really, really interesting to see them, doubling, tripling down on VeraViews. I think this is kind of the smartest way to play it. But that's really the big highlight from the roadmap that I wanted to show you guys. They're really putting everything into VeraViews, and I think that that's going to pay off in the long run. Super, super value technology, multi-billion dollar industry in saving fraudulent ad spend. So going into the next piece here, one of the most bullish notes on VRA has been the fact that the rumors of a Binance listing are actually becoming more and more valid. So over the course of the last few months, even back into earlier last year, we're seeing Binance wallets 39 and 40 accumulate VRA over and over again every month, sometimes day to day. And that's actually led to $2.3 billion VRA accumulated over that time period. And that actually amounts to about 25% of the entire VRA circulating supply, which is very, very interesting from a Binance perspective. If they weren't going to list this, why are they basically taking up, 25% of the total circulating supply, right? So very, very interesting there. I think that really could be a solid indicator. It's been a very, very heavy rumor the last almost 2 years since we've been following this project. And now this is actually coming to fruition and getting very, very interesting. So that's another bullish piece of news that has really been trending and setting VRA on fire here recently. Now, the next piece is they've actually launched something called VeraCard, which basically allows you to spend VRA in physical stores and maximize the utility of the staking rewards that they announced now 15% until April 2024. So yet another launch and another product offered by VRA, and things just keep accelerating, right? This team just keeps building and keeps offering up new products for users to use, both from the consumer side, right? Like VeraCard, for instance, but then also from the B2B side, where they're going to some of these large companies and saying, hey, we will eliminate and lower your ad spend by taking away those fraudulent views. So very, very interesting there. Now, the next piece I want to touch on very, very briefly is one of the biggest reasons VRA has been FUDed, has been gone against over the last few months and the last year is everyone's been talking about this max supply being 100 billion, for example, 110 billion, right? But the problem with that is that there's actually 90 billion that are just used to power the ad stack, right? As tokens to burn for VeraViews and other products. Now, everyone's been saying, hey, supply is a huge problem. And, they've talked about how, this is only 10% of the supply. And this basically went unverified for the longest time on CoinMarketCap. But now two things happened recently on CoinMarketCap. And interestingly enough, CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance. So another, rumor mill there. But basically it's been verified that the VRA circulating supply is 10 billion, 10.3 billion. But then also VRA went to a announcement here on the page and said, the 90 billion VRA powering the ad stack do not contribute to circulating supply. And I cannot tell you how many times that's the reason that someone is not in this project, is the concern about circulating supply. And I understand it, right? It's one of the biggest things that people look at when they say, hey, do I want to be in this project long term? What does the supply look like? Is it just infinite essentially, or is there going to be some supply shock in the future? And one of the biggest concerns for a crypto investor is that circulating supply. So to have this kind of worry alleviated, at least verified here in the last few months, I think that's led to a lot of volume as well. So really, really cool from that perspective. And we love to see that hopefully diminishing some of the FUD around the circulating supply. Now, going into another piece, this has been always an important piece of looking at not only VRA, but a lot of these, altcoin gems, so to speak, is what is the activity on social? Who's talking about it? How many people are talking about it? What are they talking about? And so over the last month, over 29 million people engaged in a VRA related tweet. That is insanity. That is crazy, right? And looking at the numbers here, just week over week, we've seen a almost 3x in bullish sentiment, in social dominance, and in Twitter volume in terms of the number of tweets, replies, engagements that VRA is seeing, right? So people are talking about it, people are excited about it, people are asking questions about it, and hopefully through a lot of this, a lot of the FUD is kind of getting diminished, and a lot of clarity is coming from these conversations, but it's great that people are talking about it, and that has basically tripled across the board just in the last month, and that aligns with the new roadmap, that aligns with the Binance rumors becoming more valid, it aligns with new launches like VeraCard, and it also aligns with the FUD being somewhat erased from that circulating supply rumor of the 110 billion. Now, we're going to cap this off with just a little bit of chart analysis and just take a look at what the next couple levels are for VRA to kind of hit. So essentially what's happened over the last, call it 4 or 5 months, is we've had this enormous falling wedge down from a high of 0.006 all the way down to the low of 0.002. And so we've had that falling wedge, and we finally broke out of it on Sunday, January 8th, maybe that day after. We stood on this with that red candle that you're seeing there. And then after that, we just went parabolic essentially, right? And that kind of lined up pretty well with the Bitcoin pump as well. So we not only got, all that bullish news that we just covered, but then also Bitcoin and a lot of crypto was pumping as well. So we kind of had a double effect there. And not only that, as we kind of had this move to the upside, we saw a convincing break and a convincing stand on top of the 200-day simple moving average. That sent it higher. And now what we're looking at is basically somewhat of a ceiling on this top of the falling wedge. So 0.077. So we're seeing a little bit of resistance there. We got blocked yesterday on it, and we're getting kind of blocked by that resistance as well again today. So it's going to be interesting if we can break the top of this falling wedge, because then the next level we'd be looking at is this 008 mark up here, 0085, 0086. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can break out of that top of this falling wedge mark. That really would send VRA quite a bit higher, especially if Bitcoin stays somewhat sideways or continues to push up to the upside. Now, if we look at where we could be going after that, before we take a look at some downside risk, what we would be looking at after that is if we wanted to shoot above, this 0.0086, we'd want to look at just over a cent, about 1.5 cents here. That would be another key level. And then after that, we'd be looking at 2.2 cents. And that's going to be the next really key level on the fib. And to put this in perspective, right, if we zoom out, this pump is rather small from the scale of what we've seen VRA do before. So just putting that into perspective, right? But at the same time, we do have an opportunity now to break out above the top of this falling wedge, then go for 0.086 here, and then hopefully come up to, 1.5 cents here, stand on this, and then we'd have a chance to go at 2.5 cents and stand on a fib. And then at that point, if we hold that as support and kind of continue sideways, then we're looking at a potential move further than that. But until we get to that 2.22 cent marker, we're going to be likely fluctuating between here and 1.5 cents. So here standing on this, and then between this as kind of a larger range of movement, right? So I think before we get insanely bullish, hey, this is going back to the all-time high, 2.5 to 2.2 cents is really where we're going to have to see before we can start having those conversations, right? But I think that nonetheless, this is a really, really positive outlook so far, and I'm really, really confident in the future of VRA long term. Now, if we just quickly look at some short-term downside, I think some of the risk here is we've pumped so quickly, right, and so aggressively. So even going back here to the coin market cap, we've seen volume fall quite substantially. I mean, this was actually in the 80s, 80 million, 85 million above the market cap. Even the volume actually surpassed the market cap for a day or two there. But what we're seeing right now is a decrease in volume, and we're also seeing on the daily a serious overbought RSI, right? Normally overbought is once you cross 70 on this RSI scale, we're up at 95, almost 96. So some of my concern in the short term is we are quite overbought on the daily, and then we also have volume slowing down as well. So if we were to come back down and establish another support, I would be looking at this 005, 0047-ish area, and then seeing us maybe come back off of this and then bounce here and create another range before going again and standing here and trying to go up further, right? So a couple of options there that could happen. Obviously, no one knows what's going to happen. Bitcoin could go back down to, 19K in a couple of days, right? We just don't really know. But I think, nonetheless, the future is bright for VRA, and it's been exciting covering this. It's been exciting watching what's going on. And I think VRA has a lot going for it with all of this bullish news and the chart just doing some stellar things. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.